10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome everybody to the Midweek Motivation at the Love Center Cathedral. This is Bishop Tyrone Smith.
And I'm Lady Savon Smith.
And here we are again for another midweek time at the Love Center. And we've been away for some time just to kind of let everybody enjoy their holiday and enjoy the incoming of the new year. But we're going to be back on our regular schedule every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock for the Midweek Motivation. So this is what I need everybody to do. I need you to tag. I need you to share. I need you to like. I need you to love this broadcast right now. For those of you that are viewing on Facebook, here's what I need you to do. I need you all to go and subscribe to the Love Center Maryland YouTube page right now. I need you to go ahead and do that. So that way you can get all of the notifications when we are having services and different events that you'll get a chance to see. Also, for those of you that are in the Facebook platform, also, again, want you to like and share. Now, for those of you that are viewing on the website, we just thank you for being on our website. And while you're there, take a look around at a bunch of things that you're going to see on our website. First Lady, it's good to have you here in our midweek, and I see you're rocking your guy. You are, First Lady, a big Stephen Curry fan. Big Stephen Curry fan.
Yes, I am, and it is good to be back with you all this evening. I pray that everyone has had a wonderful day and that you are ready to participate in our engaging discussion that we're going to have on tonight.
Participate is the word, because tonight we're going to talk about relations or relationship. But we're going to talk about it in a very real way. Tonight I'm wearing my guy. Many only true basketball fans will know that before there was ever a real discussion of Michael Jordan, there was this guy, number 34, from Maryland, Len Bias. And Len Bias was considered to be the Jordan of his age. And they were looking to him for great things. And unfortunately, right after he got drafted by the Celtics, unfortunately, he overdosed on cocaine. Excuse me. And once that happened, it just shook up the whole world. But it started a very needed conversation about drug activity in college. And so from that time, it yielded, and then we got a chance to see this evolving of Michael Jordan. And so we thought we'd wear our basketball jersey tonight because for us Ravens fans, football season is over. It's over. We're laying it to rest, and we're moving on to basketball.
Yes.
Moving on to basketball. So now here's what I need you to do. I need everybody. I need you to tag two couples. Tag two couples, or I want you to tag two people that you know are inspiring to be in relationships. I need you to tag two people right now. Everybody, I need everybody to tag two people that are either at their couples that are in relationship, or tag two people that you know that are inspiring in relationship. And what I mean by inspiring, they're actually looking toward that next step, which is the possibility of getting married. And let's have a real engaging conversation. My producer, Dominic, is monitoring everything. And so he's going to let me know exactly what's going on here. So one thing is for sure, I need to do some more sit-ups. That's for sure. I need to do more sit-ups. And I'm working on that. I'm telling you, all of that is very important. Don't let yourself be fooled. All that stuff is very, 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 very important. All that stuff is very important. I'm looking at First Lady's her page because I wanna see comments here. Because as comments are coming in, it's going to tell me what I need to see. Now, I want to, as we're talking about relationships, I want to show you something in the scripture, and we're gonna start off the conversation. Tonight is definitely going to be a two-way. It's a two-way conversation. It's going to be First Lady and I and you. And we want to hear your comments. We want to hear your questions. So I want you to engage us tonight as we're having this discussion. Now, as before we get into this, I want to say I need everybody in this middle eastern seaboard, this Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania peninsula. I need everybody to be aware that we have another storm that is coming, and I need everybody to be aware. And when I say be aware, I want you to be aware of two things. Number one, that the storm is coming. And I want you to also be aware that as you look at my Facebook page, you will also notice that the supermarkets are really thinning out. And there's a lot of reason why. It is a ripple effect that we are seeing, because not only are we dealing with COVID-19 and the Omicron variant, we're also dealing with the number of people that are not working, who have been infected across all different lines of business. Mm-hmm. And because of it, we are seeing the effect of that in the supermarkets. And so a lot of supermarkets are very scarce right now. And because of it, we need to be aware of that. We need to be aware of that.
And it's not only now. I noticed this towards the end of last year, like a lot of stores like your Walmarts and things like that, and some pharmacies. I've been to several of them and was shocked at the amount of items that were not on the shelf. So this is started towards the end of last year, so now it's getting even worse.
So let's be mindful. Let's be mindful. Make sure that you're getting all that you can get. Make sure that you are doing what you need to do so that you can be very, very careful. All right. Want to say good evening to all of our Love Center family, wherever you are, and viewing this tonight. Certainly to our Prophetic Grace family, wherever you are, and certainly to all of our colleagues and friends, ministry partners just everybody. We just pray that everybody's well. Now, let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. I want to give everybody a chance to tag some folks. Now, I want, and if my producer can pull up the scripture, I want him to pull up Matthew chapter number 2. I want you to pull up Matthew chapter number 2. And actually, I think it's maybe Matthew chapter number 1. Go to Matthew chapter number 1 first. And I don't even have my tablet. Mr. Producer, can you get my tablet for me, please? Because I want to read it. I want to read it to you because it's very interesting. And as I was studying it, I saw something, and I wanted to thank you. I wanted to start off here.
Matthew 2.
Go to Matthew 1. Go to Matthew 1. Go to Matthew 1. Go to Matthew 1. Matthew chapter number 1. And we're going to start at verse 18. Now, I want you to watch this, First Lady. And I'm going to open up. I'm going to open up a real serious conversation here. Let's go into this reading. Matthew 1, verse 18.
You Living Translation.
Yes, I am going to do Living Translation. Thank you. Here we go. Let's go into this reading. This is how Jesus, the Messiah, was born. His mother, Mary, was engaged to be married to Joseph. But before the marriage took place, while she was a virgin, she became pregnant. While she was a virgin, she got pregnant. So we got a problem. We got two people who are aspiring to be in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
A man that clearly loves woman clearly loves the man. But something happened. Now, in the scripture, what happened was spiritual, supernatural. But I want to pose this question. Tag somebody right now. Miss Producer, you can even tag your girlfriend in this and bring her into this conversation. I want everybody to engage in this conversation. I want everybody to respond to this question. If a person falls into an indiscretion, do you throw the relationship away?
No.
Okay, so you said no. All right. Okay, so you say no. So why? So you say no. So once you give your answer, I need you to give your answer and your reason. We're going to read your reasons. Then I'm going to give you, I'm going to share some things that I believe is going to help you. So you say no. Why you say no first?
So I'm going to go back to how I guess Jesus looks at us. And I know we're talking about relationships.
No, I mean, you just talk. I just want you to talk.
So whenever we err and we fall out of grace, he does not get rid of us. The door is always open to us, but he waits for us to come back to him. He doesn't push us aside. It's actually, we remove ourselves away from him. So whenever a person falls into a discretion, if anything, that's the time for you to try and not to look down on them, not to judge them, But that's a time for you to cover them and try to help them through the situation, not throw them away just because they've fallen away. Because God does not do that to us whenever we ever mess up.
Okay, now,
Do you agree?
I do agree, but I agree from an even deeper perspective.
Okay.
One of the things that I've noticed, especially counseling relationships when a length of time when there has been cheating,
Okay.
a lot of times there are a lot of different variables that lead to such a thing.
That's true.
And sometimes, not all times, but sometimes it doesn't even have anything to do with the prospective mate.
That's true.
It doesn't. Sometimes it has a lot to do with the immaturity of where that individual is. Sometimes it is temptation that they themselves have not learned to resist. Sometimes it's within the boundaries of relationship. There is anger, resentment, jealousy, strife, envy. Sometimes there are unresolves in the individual, all of which lend to these things that happen. Sure. Now, the question was, do you throw the person away? And the reason why I brought up Matthew chapter number 1, verse 18, because I would like to ask a question to our prospective audience, male and or female, if you were the Joseph in this situation. Because Mary becomes pregnant, Joseph ain't had nothing to do with it. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Now, I'm not talking about pregnancy, because clearly, I mean, but I do know of individuals who've been in situations like that, and they still stay. They still stay. I probably wouldn't. And I'm just being honest. I probably wouldn't. And let's just open the floor and let's just deal with that right there. If your prospective mate got pregnant, or as a woman, you had a man and he impregnated somebody else, would you stay? Would you stay?
That's a difficult question.
That's a difficult question.
Yes.
That's a difficult question.
Absolutely.
Well, you ain't spiritual right there. You are non-spiritual right there, aren't you? No, you real cut to the chase right there. All that forgiveness, and Jesus look at you a certain way.
Well, I'm going to forgive them, all right.
Are you going to forgive them?
May the Lord watch.
Oh, my goodness. All right, that's funny. Now, okay, so Mickey says, when we were, yes, now I used to say no. And she was talking about, now that was before my question. She said, yes, I used to say no because they kept seeing the person unbeknownst to me. Now, again, so one of my colleagues, Steve is on, and he said no. Tiana's on, and she said no. My younger brother's on, he said no. So I think it's pretty obvious that no is no. This is not gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. Now, but I'm not telling you that that's bad. But what I am saying to the other scenario, if an individual, if you happen to find out that your prospective mate has slept with somebody else, now would you stay? If your prospective mate fell into that situation, would you stay?
Can you repeat the first question?
The first question, which is the first question I'm elaborating on right now. The first question is, if your prospective mate had cheated, fallen into an indiscretion, would you stay? If your mate, and that's even if you're married or just dating, engagement, if that individual fell into a situation, you found out that they cheated, would you stay? What say you? What say you? Would you stay? Would you stay? Would you stay? So let me hear your response. If your prospective mate, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, fiance, if you found out that they cheated, would you stay? Mickey, flat out, no. Just no. No explanation. No, I'm not staying.
Yes, the trust is gone.
Trust is gone.
Yes.
But I didn't say is the trust there? And no, I'm just asking you, would you stay? Would you stay? I have in the past, I was married, but the trust was gone. I get it. I get it. Zena, flat out.
No.
No. No. Now, here's what's interesting about, and I'm talking to those individuals who are responding. Here's what's interesting. The reason why, in most cases, we say no, because of the experiences that we've had, not the experience that we're in.
That's that.
Let me help you.
Okay, so we had someone say, I would be willing to try.
Now, that's my high school friend, Steve. But again, Steve, he's like me. We're at a different stage of life, and we've lived long enough now to know that sometimes the error ain't bigger than the person. Let me say that again. When you're at a different stage of life, you will now see that the error is not bigger than the person. And the error is not bigger than what you built. But you must graduate to that point. And I will tell you, if you've not built anything with anybody, it's hard to hold on to nothing. Are y'all listening to me? That's the issue. That's the issue. See, when you read Matthew 1 and 18, you read the story of Mary and Joseph. Mm-hmm. Number one, they're not novice. Mm-hmm. They're not novice. And I'm getting ready to substantiate my argument because I'm getting ready to read something that's going to change this whole dialogue in a minute. When you've really built something, right? You gotta, that's why a lot of times when you look at the stars, those that are in entertainment and things like that, and those situations happen, you find out that they don't quickly just walk away. It's hard to walk away from something that you spent years building. And sometimes a moment of indiscretion cannot override a lifelong relationship you have built. Now, as Tracy said, right, there's definitely going to be some trust issue there, right? There's going to be some trust issue. No doubt about it. There's going to be some trust issue, right? But trust can be rebuilt. What you cannot rebuild is what you have completely torn down.
Okay. Explain that.
If you throw the whole relationship away, ain't nothing left to build.
Yeah.
Are y'all listening to me? See, if you throw it all away, if you say, you know what, girl, that's it. You slept with him, that's it. I'm done. Okay, well, you ain't got nothing to build now. You ain't got nothing to build. But before you make that move, I want everybody to have enough courage to ask this question. What exactly made that happen? Because what many folk don't want to admit or do not want to face is the possibility, did you push that person to another person?
Yeah. It takes so much for a person to admit that.
Mm-hmm.
It really does.
Mm-hmm. Because see, we want to be the victim. We want to say, you know, you did this, and this is what this is, and I'm mad, and all of that. But do you have enough courage to then sit down and just say, what made you do that? Because we've talked about this, and I said to you, if that ever happened, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have a discussion. Because if in fact I was the person that really caused it, the reaction is one thing, but what caused it? Again, when you are at a different stage of maturity, you look at life differently.
We have a question.
We have a question. Boy, do we have it? Okay.
So what if you didn't push the person away, but they still cheated?
Well, again, but then again, like I said, when that comes up, all right. See, if the individual is mature, the individual will say, you know what, this is it happened. And I'm just guilty. Now, if they give you 1,001 excuses, you gotta see whether or not it's acceptable enough to deal with it. Now, if you never push the person away, right, and you still have to assess whether or not the building can be salvaged. That is the first part of this that I want you all to see in the initial narrative. Is this situation worth saving? Because if it ain't worth saving, then if you ain't built nothing, it ain't. Look, if what was invested in the bank is not there when you go to make the withdrawal, it's nothing there.
Lady Tracy said absolutely not. So nothing wrong.
So my daughter said, absolutely not. I was told I did nothing wrong. He had moments when he was unhappy with himself and saw comfort elsewhere. He did not have that discussion with me beforehand. Now, again, in that scenario, right, you were unhappy with yourself. So here's the issue. Here it is. You unhappy with yourself. So realistically, before we can even make a move to do anything else, here's what we got to identify. I couldn't make you happy anyway because you were already unhappy with yourself, which really means you were disqualified from even being in a relationship because you had unresolved in you. And remember, I said a lot of times the reason why this stuff happens is because there's unresolved in you. And many times, unresolved people stuff that people have, they put the responsibility of happiness in another person. And they expect that person to be Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, the leprechaun, the tooth fairy, everything. Everything. Their happiness is in your hands. So that means if you're not happy with your career, you expect somebody else to satisfy your need for money. If you're not satisfied with yourself, your appearance, whatever it is, you're expecting somebody to love you and make you feel good about you. But yet you don't even make that investment yourself.
And I think a lot of times it doesn't come out sometimes until you are in a relationship with somebody, and it takes certain things to bring it out, to make you aware of what's actually going on inside. And I think that happens a lot because many people date for years and years, and then they separate from the individual, and then they don't allow themselves enough time to move past that individual, to deal with those feelings, to deal with the years of the baggage or whatever it is that they've had to deal with, and they end up carrying it until the next relationship. And sometimes it may take a while before you can see those things that you're still living with but are not aware of. And sometimes it may take a while and sometimes it doesn't, but certain things will trigger it. But when that happens, you have to be mature enough to know how to deal with it. Both the individual that discovers this issue and the prospective me. Is this something that I want to deal with? Or do I want to pull away from you until you can get yourself together first? And when you get yourself together first, then you can come back to me. That's if I'm still available. But that's my choice.
If you're still available.
Yes.
Which means don't expect me
to wait for you
to
get yourself
while
together.
you get yourself together.
Not saying that I'm perfect and everything is right, because there is no perfect person. There is no perfect relationship. However, there are some non-negotiables and some things that should already be set in place. It should be. Don't expect me to wait for you. And I'm coming to you with something and you don't really have much to offer me, so I gotta sit and wait for you to kind of get yourself together. That's not fair to me.
No, it's
not fair.
No, it's not. No. Now, let's go a little further. Because in the Joseph narrative, something interesting happened. See, when Joseph found out that Mary was pregnant, he was like, I'm out. Now, the Bible says he was going to put her away quietly. Mm-hmm. Right? He wasn't going to throw her under the bus, call her all kind of names on Facebook, make all these posts on Facebook and all this stuff. He's going to put her away quietly. But the Holy Spirit comes to Joseph. Angel comes to Joseph and says, hold up, Joseph, wait a minute. Because what happened to her actually happened. God did that. Mm-hmm. So now I got a question. What if, actually, let me rephrase the question before I go that way. Are you mature enough? That's the better way to entertain that question. Are you mature enough that if the reason why you are going to walk away is actually legitimate, but God tell you no, are you mature enough to accept it? Ooh.
It depends on where you are in your walk.
That's a very good answer. Now I got it. Now I got it. I got to give you props right there. That's a good answer. That's a real good answer. That's a real good answer.
That's going to be the determining factor.
That's a real good answer.
Where you are in your walk.
Because you have to be
yes.
mature enough in God, number one, for him to talk to you that way. Mm-hmm. You got to be mature enough. Got to be mature enough. Because if you ain't mature enough, it don't matter what God say. We're gonna do like we normally do. We're gonna do what we want. We're gonna do what we want, right? We're gonna do what we want. But are we mature enough not to do what we want and do what he wants? Now, this scenario, I'm talking about a real scenario that absolutely says, "Yep, you done messed up. You done messed up, player. You blew it. You blew it. You didn't got caught. You're out. You." And she got a right to leave. He got a right to leave. And God said, "Hold, don't leave." See, that right there, that's a tough situation because now your emotions say one thing, but God is saying something else.
So you have to be willing.
Ooh, you got to be really saved right there. You got to be really saved. Cause I mean, cause you ready to bust. I mean, you ready to bust something else. You ready to bust something else, big time. You ready to go to war. You ready to, depending on, so you ready to slash tires, cut clothes, all that. You ready to zap out.
Yeah, but however, all of those emotions and everything is going on, a mature person that has a true, sincere walk with Christ, when you opt to have that lifestyle and relationship with Christ, that is a pre.
Hold on, y'all. Phone died on us. Hold on. We still here. Phone died on us, so give us a minute. We still here. I mean, they can hear y'all talk. They just can't see.
They can hear us talking?
Yeah.
Y'all can hear us talking? Boy, that's amazing. We just lost camera.
What?
Hot.
It's not hot.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's me. I think I'm making you hot.
Well, that's a foregone conclusion. You always do that. No, you gotta plug that light back up. Oh.
I was changing it.
We.
That's true.
Oh, the adapter's upstairs. I gotta get the adapter. There it is. Now, can you all still hear us?
Yeah, they can hear you. Yes. They can hear us.
All right. Well, we're going to keep talking. We're going to bring the camera back in a second.
Hold on. I'm gonna use my phone. I'm gonna use my phone, so we're gonna be good.
So they can hear.
So
Maybe Trish is calling.
no,
Tell her we good. We got it.
now we're just gonna keep talking because the camera's out. We lost camera, but we're gonna keep talking. Technology, gotta love it. So this is why in computer technology, you got to be careful of things you say because you don't know what be getting ready to happen. So let's continue. We're gonna keep going. My producer's working on getting the camera here. I wonder if, because it's pretty crazy how it's doing that.
Is the camera back on?
It's not on. It's like it locked the app. Wow, that's really weird. Technology. Wow.
Let me grab that chart.
Did you invite yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You can't switch your phone.
That's what I'm doing now. We don't be good. Y'all can keep talking.
All right.
Y'all keep talking.
You all can still hear us?
Yeah, they can still hear me.
All right.
Y'all keep talking.
Now, so do we have or have we reached a place in our relationship where we are mature enough to allow God to navigate the relationship? Because that's really I am intrigued by the number of people who would look at our relationship, see the things that they see, see how we love one another, and have a desire to want to, they like it, they like what they see, but they don't understand that there's a very strong yieldedness that we have when it's concerning God in our relationship, though. And as I'm saying that, can you all still hear me? Give me some thumbs up if you all can still hear me. I want to make sure that you all can still hear me. Give me some thumbs up if you can still hear me. Because I don't think they can hear me now.
They can.
No.
They can still hear you.
Because I think.
No, I got it through the computer.
Ah, okay.
So they can still hear you.
Give me some thumbs up if you all can still hear. I want to make sure that you all can still hear me.
Okay.
Give me some thumbs up. Give me some hearts.
Yeah, they can still hear you. So keep going.
Okay, there we go. All right.
All right. About to go camera.
Now, this wantingness of wanting this relationship, we want relationship. We want to be in a relationship. We want to be, all that, we want that. But I just don't think in the consideration of it,
I just don't think that people really understand how much God really has a lot to do with how that's going to work. Mm-hmm. And it's very difficult for you to want to be in such a complex thing. Very complex. Without having the one who orchestrated it all at the center of it. You ain't gonna be able to manage relationship without having God there. It's gonna be real hard. It's gonna be real hard. It really is. Because sometimes people, what I see a lot is people do things, and sometimes they don't even know why they do what they do. They don't. I've talked to numerous amounts of people, different scenarios, all kinds of situations. Y'all cannot imagine some of the stuff that I've had talked to. It's amazing. I've talked to men who, when I ask them why they feel what they feel, and I'll listen to them talk, and as they're talking, my conclusion of it all, they don't even know. I've talked to certain women about why they fell into what they fell into. Here's what I find very unique. I've heard, well, because he don't know how to love me.
Did you ever teach him?
And I'm thinking, see, the thing is, when you say, did you ever teach them? It is, number one, before you can really teach another person, right, how to love, before you can even get there, you must love yourself. Now, in the loving of yourself, there is a place of satisfaction you got to reach with yourself. My producer, he didn't, I don't know what he doing. So I have to help you. Boy, oh boy. Mr. Producer. I have to help my producer here. How about we go back to mine, because yours is
No, we got it out there.
Oh, you think you got it. All right.
No, we got it out.
All right. So this is definitely wrong.
Wow. Yes, sure.
This is what relationship is. Stuff happens, right? When stuff happens, you gotta adjust.
Necessary adjustment.
You gotta adjust because stuff happens, right?
Lady Tracy said she's trying not to miss anything.
Here, so again, just for those of you that are tuning in, tonight we are talking about real relationships, real stuff. And we're talking about this whole thing about cheating. Ms. Producer, can you put that up on the screen so that people can see this is what we're talking about here. This is cheating is a big thing, because what I find now is the level of promiscuity that is in the land is extraordinarily strong. It's very strong. And because it is so strong, people are susceptible. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. And you got to really ask yourself, because I know everybody wants it. But I got a better question. Are you ready for it? Are you really ready? Because I tend to think we want all of what it looks like, right? But we ain't ready to put that work in. We ain't ready to put that work in. We not. See, everybody likes the guy who drives the Beamer, who drives the Mercedes, right? Everybody wants the girl with great hips, thighs, right? Long hair.
Maybe. Yeah.
You know. But they don't understand what comes along with that. They don't understand. They don't understand that maybe you want, like a lot of women want a guy that looks a certain way, but have you considered what you look like? And maybe a lot of times, and not to say that it's superficial, but it is a consideration that when y'all met.
Hey, Mama Cheryl.
That's my mother in the Lord is on. I want everybody right now, we're going to take a 20-second commercial break, and I need everybody to say hello to my mother in the Lord, Pastor Cheryl Menendez, Light of the World Family Ministries. Every leader, every son, every daughter should have a mother like her. You should, everybody, right now, I need y'all to say hello to my mother. Everybody, right now. Y'all give me some hearts, give me some likes, so y'all say hello to my spiritual mother right now. There's a lot of people that want it. They want it, right? But there's a lot of things that go into it. And what I was leading into when I was talking about it being superficial, sometimes men are made different. They're made very, very different. Men don't need much. They don't need much. But what they need, they gotta have it. All right, listen to me, ladies. With men, it's really not a lot. It's not a lot, but what it is, whatever it is that they want, you got to be able to give it to them. Because if you do not give it to them, they typically are going to go find it. With women are built different. With some women, and I would even say all women, even with them, it's not the size of it. And don't y'all go in the gutter. It's not the size. What I've seen with most women is men do not pay attention to detail. Because with women, it is the more detailed thing. Like with you, as for those of you that don't know, when we were dating earlier, I tried to do all this big stuff, buy all this stuff, and you basically said, that ain't it. That ain't it. You wanted me. You wanted my time. You wanted my attention. Now, again, you got to know the kind of woman that you're dating. You got to know the man that you're dating. And you could ask a billion questions. Listen to me carefully. You could ask a billion questions and never get the answer.
That's true.
Let me tell you what I know, tell you what I've seen. You can ask all the questions that you want. However, sometimes in relationships, people have not learned the art of communication. So it is hard to articulate what you cannot because you were never taught, you are not built to be able to have these conversations. But listen to me careful. What you may not say from your mouth, you will display with your actions.
That's true.
So you have to be A very good listener with your eyes.
Yes.
You asked me something without going, not going too far. But you asked me something one time. Watch your eyes. We good. You all right.
I don't know with you.
You all right. Just relax. Just relax.
No.
Just relax. You just calm down. I got you, girl. I got you. You asked me one day, you said, how did you know that about me? You said, how do you know that about me? What did I say?
You told me you could tell by my body language, my movements, my move.
Now, did I say it was because of what you said?
No.
Did I say it was something that you said?
No.
Did I say it was something you expressed in any way verbally?
No.
No. I said, I know your movements.
Yes.
I know your body language. It ain't got nothing to do with what you say. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me very carefully. You can say all day long that you want to be in a relationship, but I'm going to tell you, one of the keen abilities that you must possess in relationship is the art of study.
Yeah. You have to study your mates.
If you're not willing to study, you ain't ready to take the test.
You're going to fail the class royally every time.
You can say all day long, you can buy whatever, you can make whatever, you can do all this stuff. I'm telling you now, what you buy ain't gonna keep her. Okay? Let me just be clear. Because here's what America wants to know. If I buy you everything in the world, will you still stay? No. If I buy you everything in the world, will you be faithful? No. So then, what will make you be faithful and what will make you stay? When I, not with my money, but my time, invest in learning who you are. Because I'm going to tell you what I've learned about man. When I say man, I'm talking about mankind. Let me tell you what I've learned more than anything else. I don't care where you are in life. I do not care if you are male or female. I don't care if you are African American, Caucasian, Chinese, Portuguese. I don't care whatever ease you are. Here's what I know. Everybody wants to be loved.
Yes.
The only way you will be loved, I have to learn you.
Yes.
If I learn you, which is when we talk about investment of relationship. See, if something happens, if I've taken that much time to learn you, you're not going to be so willing to throw it away. Because guess what I've learned? It takes time to learn, which means in the early stages of I love you, the early stages of I love you is actually interpreted I'm willing to learn to love you. Because I have not learned you yet. But I love what I know. I love what I've learned. And if you give me enough time, I'm willing to learn more. Are y'all with me? Are y'all listening to me? Because I'm gonna tell you all this stuff about you want to be in a relationship, and well, let me tell you something. Number one, you got to take the unlock button off of who you are so somebody can learn you. You can't live in a house shut up. You can't live behind a locked door and expect somebody to know you. You cannot close your heart off and say, because he hurt me, she hurt me, and I ain't never opening up my heart again. Well, then how is somebody supposed to learn to love you if you lock the door and don't let nobody in? How's that supposed to happen? How are you supposed to love with what you restrict? And you can't love a chameleon.
That's true.
I can't love you if you are one person on Monday and you're another person on Tuesday. I can't love that because I don't even know who you are, which also then subscribes to this theory. If you got a double life, you are one way with your friends and then you one way with me, how am I supposed to know who you are? I can't love that. That's not real. Are y'all with me? And let me drop this. And this right here, I am very direct when I say this, and I ain't gonna stutter. Preacher, you cannot be one way at church and be another way at home. She ain't gonna stay with you. She ain't impressed because you can rock them and shake them and rock them. What she is impressed with is when you come home and you ain't rocking and shaking, but you're stable, and she's got something that she knows is consistent. Am I talking right?
Yes, you're talking right.
Okay, I just want to make sure because
I got a question on the floor.
we got a question.
Not in the chat, but just a question.
Oh, you got it. All right. So my producer is got a question. Bishop Carl Jones, it's good to see you, sir. Pray everything is well with you there. Pray everything is well.
So you said about you can't lock yourself when you're trying to love people. Well, why have you been hurt so many different times?
Got it. Great question. Great question. What happened? So my son is asking this question because I said you can't lock your heart, right? And then want to be loved, but you've been hurt, right? Now, if you've been hurt, you cannot engage in any other relationship until you have healed, period. You cannot, because you can't ask somebody to do surgery on something that you won't even come to the operating table to be worked on. You can't. And I'm gonna tell you something. A lot of times we inadvertently hurt other people because you are trying to love them from a locked door.
And back to your question, Dominic, you can't expect to get 100% from that individual if you have not properly allowed yourself to process and heal. You're not going to get the 100% that you want.
Because you ain't 100%.
You're not 100%.
You're operating at a 50% capacity and trying to prove to someone that you're offering them 100%. You're only offering them 100% of the 50 that you are. And that ain't gonna work.
It's not enough.
That ain't gonna work. Now, here's the other thing. And again, I'm being real clear when I say this. Stop hiding behind you being a preacher, trying to be in a relationship. Stop hiding behind you being a preacher, you being a pastor, you being a prophet, you being an apostle, and then being in a relationship. Let me say something to you all that the Lord said to me, and it really made me think. Now I want all of my theologians, great thinkers, all of my Bible scholars, those that have inspired to really learn the word to a different level. I want to do a comparison between Catholicism and Protestantarianism or Protestants. I want to do a comparison. For those of you that have studied the Bible and have gone to seminary theological school, you know in Catholicism that in order for you to be a priest, you give up your right to be married. You live a life of sodomy. You give up sex, because now you are saying that the call of God is my only reason to live in Catholicism. But in the Protestant church, we do not have to give up the possibility of being married, because we are looking at the Bible in its full gospel, where we clearly see that the apostles had wives. So where Catholic Church get that from, I don't know, but God bless their hearts, because I ain't never gonna be Catholic, ever. But here's the one thing that I said this to you. I do not think that we really understand the love of God in a more earnest way. So let me give you something to think about. The Bible clearly said that God was a jealous God. He said, I don't want no other gods before me. None. I don't want nothing. I want you exclusively to myself. I don't want anybody else to take what I myself have in you, built and put into the world. But in his time of making the world and then making mankind, he stopped. He stopped, and he said, it's not good for you to be alone. And the Lord said this to me. He said, as much as I loved man, and as much as I am jealous and want exclusivity with you, he said, I wasn't that selfish to leave you without something that not only could you love, but that could be pleasurable to you and you alone. Because in the nuptials between a man and a woman, one of the pleasures of it is when you can consummate the marriage. In the activity of that, which later when you read in Hebrews, the Bible says that marriage is honorable to all and the bed undefiled. When that is said, sweetheart, there ain't nothing in the flesh of the two individuals coming together that God benefits from at all. He gave that to us exclusively. There is nothing. God is a spirit. They that worship him will worship him in spirit and in truth. There is nothing about this that he's getting anything out of it, which means when he developed this thing called relationship, he knew very well that there was a part of it that is only beneficial to us. And because he feels that way, it made me say, you know, for a guy that smart and a guy that was that jealous and a guy who controls everything, in a fleeting moment of his manufacturing ability and in the infinity of his mind and the totality of all of his purpose, he stopped and said, but I love you enough not to be selfish. Here's why I said that. Need everybody to listen to me. Don't ever say that you want to be in a relationship until you've truly understood the term of being unselfish. If you're not ready to really sacrifice something, because God, who is the infinite being of the entire universe, controls everything. There ain't nothing in this universe that don't move that God ain't aware of. And even in him, he took a moment and said, but I can't be totally selfish. And if you ain't ready to be there, you ain't ready for no relationship. You ain't ready.
So we have a question, Bishop. So the question is, so how do you put yourself out there if you're trying to date?
Here's the thing. You're already out there. Daughter, here's what I know. Here's what I know. Number one, you're already out there. Do you know every day that you move, every time that you are in the public eye, somebody is watching you. Somebody's watching you. I think the problem is there is so much emphasis on putting yourself out there. No, you ain't got to put yourself out there. You're already out there. Trust me. You're already on display. Somebody sees you. Somebody has already expressed some level of interest in you in their mind. The real question is, which has nothing to do with you, and that is, how do I get somebody to approach me?
Oh, that's a whole different question.
Because that's really what that is. How do I get somebody to approach me? How do I get into a conversation? And how do I do that? Well, a lot of times, relationship does not necessarily happen because you out there with some sign that says, here I am available, with some neon light flashing, like, I'm ready, here I am, whenever you're ready, that's not how that works. That's not how that works.
Although some women do kind of put themselves out there like that,
And,
in my opinion. That
and let me tell you what happened. Tell them what happened, baby. Tell them.
Complete turn off.
It's because see, when you come like that, typically a man is gonna say, there's some junk with you.
Too much.
There's some junk with you, and because let me tell you something about a real man. We talking about relationships. Let me tell you something about a real man. Y'all better listen to me. You didn't listen to me, hey, you gonna stay in the situation. Just whatever. Let me tell you something about a real man. A real man loves to watch, observe, hunt, and kill. Not literal. Because I gotta, folk out here, But he likes that. Don't no man want you to throw yourself on him. Because let me tell you, a man that wants a woman to throw herself on him, the only thing he's looking for is a banging moment. That's all he wants. And for those of you out there that continually keep doing it and you wonder why you're not yielding a relationship, because categorically you have put yourself out of relationship and put yourself in a category of just bang me. And then you get mad when he don't stay. Well, the way you initiated it was not the initiation of relationship. You initiated it with the theory that I just women are doing it too. So because now we're in this place, how do you expect a man to embrace the theory that this is the entry to relationship when you approach me like you just want to bang me? your shirt is here, your dress is tight, you wear them bodycon dresses, you can see the
eyelashes are all the way up here to your
like they shades. I mean, now again, you want a classy man, but you come as a hoe. And I'm not taking that back, because I'm trying to make you see you attract what you put out. Don't be mad because he come at you that way. That's the way you look. It's real. I'm so sorry. It's tag somebody, share it. Because we're talking about relationships. We're talking about being in a real relationship. You want something, but what you are putting out there ain't exactly what you're getting in return. And here's another thing too. Sometimes you wonder why I keep falling to these bad relationships, because that's what you're attracting. And sometimes what you need to do before you even consider this move into relationship, why don't you have somebody assess what you're attracting? Have somebody assess it. Have somebody say. Now, I will also say, sometimes people are just what I call the great pretender. Some people have really mastered the art of pretending. And that's why don't allow yourself to be completely taken in the interview. Once they start doing the job, you got to just watch everything. And before you give them the pension to say, you ready for this lifelong thing, you better make sure that they've earned it through their work ethic. Don't give nobody a pension when they haven't even earned a 40-hour pay. Pension says you've been working here a while. You've earned something. Too many people have mastered the art of interview. But if I ever really want to know who you are, all I got to do is watch you when you start working. All I got to do is just watch. All I got to do is just watch. Just like, here's something else too. This is some of y'all ladies, y'all going to clutch your pearls on this one. But again, we out here. So, we out here. And I don't know if they're ready. But we out here. And we might as well, because all of this matters. It all matters. I'm going to start by saying this. I'm going to go somewhere, but I'm going to start by saying this. Can love be in the beginning one way, and can love leave? Is it legitimate that what I once knew in the beginning, can it leave? What say ye? What say ye? If we were one way, right? We were young, and we looked a certain way and all this stuff. But now we done been together for a little while. We done picked up some pounds. Some lost hair. What used to be up is down. Can love leave?
Yes, and I think we see that a lot, even now, with older people. They started off in love,
married for years, and in their older years, you find a lot of individuals divorcing them.
Now, if you're in this place, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're in this place, and you've been together for a while, and and now all this stuff happens, and you feel that love slipping. Once you feel it slipping,
Mm-hmm.
that's when you need to start repairing.
Yes.
That's when you need to start repairing. You cannot wait until it's really bad, it's gone south, and now you start looking at other options. Because I'm gonna tell you what happens to the cheating theory. What happens is you were with someone in the early stages and you develop this relationship, right? This person has gotten to know you, all this stuff, but then you change, right? You've become something else, right? You become something else. The person that you were with watches this evolution.
Mm-hmm.
Through the evolution and adaptation of who you are becoming, there's certain things that they don't like. Rather than express that, which I'm going to talk about that in a second,
Mm-hmm.
they keep it in. They don't say anything. But their actions are telling you that there's certain things that they don't like. Right? But while the change happens, the other people that you are meeting in your life see you in the change.
Mm-hmm.
They see you in the evolution. So the extra weight that you picked up, that your mate has watched this change,
Mm-hmm.
the person that you've met out there don't know you like that. So what they see, they immediately like. So it is no issue to them. It's only an issue to your mate at home. So because it is an issue at home and they have begun to act a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
you then, because you are the reciprocant of these feelings,
Mm-hmm.
you feel, wow, why is this person treating me this way? So now there is a tear
Mm-hmm.
in the relationship. Because there's a tear in the relationship, and because nobody wants to deal with the tear, everybody's just reacting. Nobody's talking. So what happens, that person now becomes attracted to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
The person at home is feeling some kind of way, but never says anything. Because they never say anything, and because it never saying anything, and it keeps growing. It just keeps growing. It just keeps growing, and it keeps growing. And then after a while, where certain routine things that was happening, now the routine don't happen.
Mm-hmm.
That person now has become attracted to somebody else because that person is seeing what you have become, not who you were.
Yeah.
Are y'all still there? Y'all still there? Give me some hearts. Give me some thumbs up. Let me know you're still there. Because this right here is the constitution. These are the variables of why a lot of this stuff happens. This is why.
Yeah, that's why it's important that you have to always keep yourself up and don't just kind of allow yourself to.
Okay. Now, I'm glad you brought that up. Because again, if you're not ready for a relationship, you got to say, I'm just not ready. Because here's the problem. You hooked them.
But you got to keep them, which requires work.
And nobody wants to ask these questions. ladies, ask your man. And when you ask this question, don't ask this question with this look on your face like, and you better answer this question right, because then don't ask the question. Don't ask the question. You want truth. You want transparency. You want him to love you genuinely. All the stuff that I hear. But do you have enough love to ask him the question, do you really like what you see in me now? Do you like my thighs, my hips, my breasts? Do you like it? Do you like my hair? Do you like what I wear? Again, you want something. You want a relationship, but you want that fairy tale stuff that they see on television. You got to be willing. All right, Tracy got a question. What if you really like somebody? How would you approach them without being so forward? Do you think it's okay to just be forward? If you asking me, I'm telling you right now, I honestly think, like, some of these guys, like, I'd be wondering, like, what planet are you on? What planet are you on? Because for me, it ain't really rocket science. Let me find out that if I like you, it's real simple. It's very simple. ABC. First of all, I'm not gonna come to you with some dead dry line. I'm not doing that. Because first of all, I don't need a hook to get you. I don't need a hook. I'm gonna come so authentic to you, and I'm gonna put it right out there so that I'm not wasting my time. Please. I'm going to. Listen, First Lady. When we were dating, all right.
That's long ago.
That was that. Why you say it? It was 20 years ago. But 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 10 days ago.
You're still very forward. Yes.
Emma?
Yes.
Emma, please let the audience know that I'm
still very forward.
I'm going to be so upfront. You ain't going to have to wonder whether or not I like you or not. You going to know. You going to know. You going to know. You going to know. When I first met you, tell them how that happened. And I got to help your memory, because you know your memory bad. Your memory bad. Your memory is bad. Your memory is. See, I love my wife. I love everything. I love everything about my wife. But let me tell you something. My wife's memory, boy, I'm telling you something. That thing is, it go off in all kind of different places, and I got to reel it back in. Really? She ain't. No. I want to see if you tell a story right, because you typically don't. But I want to. So no, tell a story. Tell them. All right. So I'm gonna help you so that way. So where did we meet at? Where did we meet?
Arundel Mills. Why do I feel like I'm on trial?
You are on trial. You're on trial. We met at Arundel Mills, yes. Right? And where were we at in Arundel Mills?
Julian's.
We're in Julian's, which no longer exists.
I can't believe it.
Yes, we're doing this because y'all do, because women do that to men. When is my birthday? When is our anniversary? What color do I like? All this stuff. See, my wife ain't gonna ask me that because my wife knows I know everything concerning her.
I'm not doing this.
I know everything. There ain't a color that I don't know. There ain't a dress that I don't know.
Ain't a shoe.
There ain't a shoe that I don't know. There ain't
food.
Other stuff, food, anything. You know why? Because I take time to study.
Yes, he took the time to study me after he stopped showering me with the Louis Vuitton bags and the jewelry boxes.
But that was only because in the early stages, I was operating from what I was told,
Yeah.
not what I studied.
Yeah.
Question. Lady
Question.
Tracy is saying not as a man's perspective, because of course, as a man, we're always supposed to be forward, but as a woman to be forward.
Oh, well, then you can ask First Lady. Because see, for
think
me, I'm telling you,
Lady
I
Tracy,
ain't got
I
no
think
issue.
it is okay to be forward as long as you're not aggressive with it. So
and then I'm gonna tell you something. With most men, ladies, listen to me. You got to help him because he don't. Be like, golly. I mean, he needs smoke signals, carrier pigeons.
you can be forward but very
Fireworks.
classy.
Fireworks. He need all of that.
Stop it. So, Lady Tracy, you can be forward, not aggressive, but very classy and tactful about it.
But still allow him to chase, though.
Of course.
Still allow him to chase.
Of course.
Coming from my son,
I know.
next generation. Even my son knows that no, you can't just throw yourself on him because you throw yourself out there, he gonna think, you just want an encounter.
It's easy.
You just want an encounter. All right, if that's what you want.
And that's a turn off.
That's
a turn off.
And if that's how
just
you
give
throw
him enough.
if that's how you throw it, that's how he gonna catch
That's how he's gonna catch it. Just give him enough just to bite, Lady Tracy. Just enough.
I don't know if you want to say that.
Wait.
I don't know if you want to say
Well,
that.
she knows what that means.
I hope so.
Do you get me, Lady
Jesus. Oh my. Oh. Oh. All right. So you
Tracy? She said, hey.
hey, all right, listen. Now, for a man, all right. And since we out here, let's just throw this out here.
What?
Does a man always have to be the one to propose?
I say it's weird. That's weird. It's weird looking at women proposing. It's weird.
But here's the reason. Here's my question, not the reason. Here's my question. Why does it look weird? What is wrong with a woman proposing? What really is wrong with it? I need everybody, if you're watching right now and you just heard that question, I want you to answer that question. I want my son to answer the question. I want First Lady to answer the question. If my mother and the Lord is still on, I want you to answer that question because you come from a different generation. What is wrong with a woman proposing? What's wrong with it? Jump in wherever you are, Mr. Producer, First Lady. Tell me what's wrong with it.
So I'm stuck in between the old
and that's the issue right there.
But you can't say that I'm wrong. You can't say that.
No. But let me counteract that. But what makes it wrong? What makes that wrong?
It's just tradition. It's just
all right, tradition.
It's just how
and have we not evolved?
We have, but some things don't feel right to change.
All right, but you're talking about a feeling. You're talking about a feeling. There was nothing in the writing. There was nothing written. There was nothing that said.
So I'm going to say this. So you may not agree with it, but so the Bible says, "He that findeth a wife." So this is
you're going down the wrong street.
But I'm just saying,
because contextually, because let me just completely mess up.
If you're gonna propose,
I'm gonna mess you up. Because here's the issue: when Solomon said he that findeth a wife, Solomon had 1,000 wives.
Yes, he did.
So what does that really prove?
I mean, but so what makes it right to do then?
Here's the thing.
I don't.
I know because you come from we categorically put certain things in a box, put a padlock on the box, and said. But what's interesting in the development, in the administration of love, we want everything to be equal. We want everything to be equal. But that right there, we want absolute exclusivity that he has to do this, which is interesting because I've seen this happen. I saw a man who was in a relationship. He loved her, but he was scared to propose to her.
I'm sorry. We have a good question here. I'm sorry, Bishop. So hold that thought. So if the woman proposed, should she also be the head of the house?
But him being the head of the house and proposal are completely two different matters of subject.
Yeah, but
because all we're talking about in proposal is initiation. That's all we're talking about. We are not categorically saying that a woman has to be the head of anything. All we are talking about is initiation. We are saying that whether it is me or whether it is you. Now, the problem is society, socialistically, we have put ourselves in a box, locked ourselves in the box, and said, this is the way that it is, right? Now, here's what's interesting.
Okay, but I have a question to that though. Because normally when a man proposes, it allows him, it's like he is the head of everything because he made that initial move. It is like, as a woman, it kind of feels weird, and it feels like I'm submitting myself under her, and I don't
see that. I don't see how we get initiation.
That she's basically taking the lead.
Yeah.
And you should be taking the lead. I hear what you're saying.
But again, but how come in a lot of other things when it comes to that relationship, she can take the lead and it not be scrutinized? Why is that? Why is it that in many other things, we are now in a time when a woman can make more money than the man?
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean she's the head of the house?
No,
it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
If she cuts the grass, does it mean that she's the head of the house? No. In everything, we have watched the evolution of woman and man. We are watching women who are now more corporate, who have these positions. That is almost suggested to think that because she is the CEO of a major corporation, does that necessarily mean because her husband is only the manager where he works, does that mean she is the head of the house?
No.
I got a statement. Lady Tracy said, let's keep it real. Women have been the head of the household.
I don't necessarily agree with that. Here's what I will say. Here's what I will say.
Lady Tracy said,
she said, keep real. The woman, she's not the head of the house. But here's what I'll say.
She said, we have been. I understand what you're trying to say.
So let me speak to that. Here's the truth. He might be the head, but in all fairness, she's really driving. She's driving. See, anything happens in that house, the moment something happens to her, it affects the entire house, which is where the statement comes, happy wife, happy life. That's where that comes from. Because even though he is the head, he's the head watching her the entire time. Now, let's go to all right, Tiana. So Tiana says the man should lead. If a woman proposes, how does she know if she is on the same page as the man? Women can think that they are on the same page, but they are not. Guys would want to have stability in all places. Sometimes women does not. Women can be ready, but men cannot. Okay, so again, this whole theory of, and this is where we're stumbled at. Well, number one, we have contextually looked at the scripture, he that findeth a wife, with the assumption that he's got to find her. Okay, for those of you that would like to read the entire Bible, I need you to go back and read the story of Boaz. Go back and read the whole story. Don't go off of what somebody said. Go back and read the story.
We can do it right now. We got.
don't go off of what you think.
Where's
Because
that at?
here's the
Well, see, here's the thing. So I know society has evolved, but it's always been the man proposes.
It's
and
always
some
been.
things
So
have
you
just never
start off
changed.
saying,
So
I know society is, but then you say,
because
but,
when a man
you know,
proposes, he should be ready. He should be stable. There are certain things. If you're going to take on the responsibility of having a wife and a family, a woman should be prepared too. But if you are going to take this on, there are certain things that you should have in place. Not saying that there's things that the woman should not have in place, but if you are ready to step out there and lead, I think you should have a leg up on a woman. Not saying that we're not supposed to have our stuff together, but there's certain things that I think that I don't believe should.
so you do know it kind of like what you're saying is almost like, so he got to have his stuff in order. And if I'm kind of like sort of there.
No, but if you're
I can,
stepping up to be the head of the house, that's what your responsibility is. It's never been
okay, so
a woman's role to be the head of
so
the house. So
this-
that's what.
the thing about this head of the house, so you're saying that when he initiates the proposal,
He's the head.
what he's really saying
I'm
is,
assuming that
I
you're
am
ready
ready
to
to
take
lead.
on this responsibility to lead. That's what should happen. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Okay. So here's the difficulty with it. Like I said, I knew a situation where a guy was he was ready. He wasn't the issue of whether or not he was the head and he could provide and all that stuff. The issue was he was scared to propose because of the fear of rejection. And unfortunately, they wound up because she became impatient because of him.
His lack of courage to do it.
So unfortunately, they fell out. They wound up falling out. And it wasn't until years later she found out he wanted to marry her. But because of her persona, he was fearful because he didn't want that rejection because he had an issue with rejection.
Well, that's a problem right there.
Why is it a problem? He's got this issue of rejection. It's something that's in him.
Yes.
It wasn't that he didn't love her. He had clearly been doing everything. The problem was he was scared to go there for the fear of rejection. And because he didn't propose, she became impatient.
But if you want it, at what point does that desire supersede the feeling of, okay, I don't want to do this because she may reject me? If you're at that point, that feeling of wanting to be with her should supersede that. If she rejects you, you have to be mature enough to deal with it. Or in my opinion, you're not ready. That's just my opinion.
But going back to something we talked about before though, if he had an issue with rejection and he never really got over that.
Thank you.
No. No. It wasn't rejection because of relationship. I'm talking about the psychological issue of rejection, not just rejection in relationship. He just has an issue. He just has an issue with rejection. A lot of it stemmed from things that had happened in him, parental. It wasn't relational. But he could. The issue in this individual, his issue was the people that he loved. He had an issue that he didn't want to be rejected because he was rejected by his parents, and then he was also rejected by his siblings. So he had this issue, and it was a real issue. Now, when it came to her, he loved her. He absolutely loved her. But the moment, the anxiety to the thinking that I could propose and her saying no, that anxiety was huge. And he really They wind up, and the only reason why I'm also bringing this up, again, because there is such an evolution of so many other things. And now let me flip the script a little bit, and let me say this. Would I do a party and invite all these people and do all this stuff and have her to ask me? I wouldn't. And the reason why I wouldn't is because of y'all reason. Because I've learned that in society, there is this image. And that image, if it is presented that way, absolutely would taint the value of the relationship. So when I say I'm okay with her doing it, what I'm saying is in the privacy of us. Because one thing I've learned, and y'all hear me teach this, the fingerprints of your relationship are exclusive to you.
Yes, that's true.
And what we do may not work for everybody else. And you've got to be careful not to give somebody a 3D view of your relationship when you can't even manage the 20/20 of what you see in our relationship. You can't. Society does have a very strong influence on our perception. In theology, it is called cultural anthropology. It is the culture of the study of mankind. We are truly moved by the culture we live in. As a matter of fact, that influence of culture is a part of the reason why relationship is so difficult right now. Because the level of promiscuity that exists right now makes it difficult for any man and any woman to live in a monogamous relationship. It's very difficult. It is a part of the reason why I would tell anybody, if you're going to do this, what you are saying to your mate is, I am unplugging from the world.
You have to.
I'm completely coming away from everything that they say, think, and or do, and I am becoming one with you unapologetically. If you're not ready to do that, sat down. Just sat down, because this ain't gonna work. You ain't gonna be plugged into the world and still trying to do that relationship thing. That ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. I'm telling you now, it's not gonna work. But there are things within the confines of your relationship that it's just exclusive to you. And I'm saying, when I say that it is okay for a woman to do it, I'm only saying it to the perspective that that can only happen within the confidential place of just you and her, because society ain't ready for that. As a matter of fact, I've watched several times when a woman tried it, and I could tell by the viewers that it was received with some crazy looks on their faces.
Even if it's in the privacy of your own home, once it gets out, it's still going to be looked at like that.
Right, because
it's going to get out.
No, it's not. It doesn't necessarily have to. It doesn't. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Just like in a lot of things that happen in relationship that don't never get out, everything in the relationship does not have to become public.
It does not have
It doesn't.
It doesn't have to.
A lot of times it becomes public because you feel the need
to say something.
To say something. But in all fairness, you don't have to.
It's true.
You don't have to. You don't have to. Because let me go back to the Mary and Joseph scenario. Because see, when Joseph found out what he found out, the Bible said he was going to put her away privately.
Yes, it did.
Mm-hmm.
And again, here's the other thing about relationship that I need people to understand. There's something that happened in that relationship. You got to learn how to deal with it privately, not publicly.
That's true.
Don't go to Instagram.
You can't. See, the problem is everything that typically happens becomes a post on social media. You're not ready for relationship if everything that happens got to become public. Even some measures of our love, I don't post on Facebook because they ain't ready for that. They ain't ready for that. I do certain things because I'm trying to encourage, I'm trying to strengthen the perspective of monogamous relationship. I'm trying to show the world you can love and be in love. You don't have to be married and disgruntled. You don't have to be married and suspicious. You don't have to be married and cockeyed. You can be married and be happy. You can be married and enjoy it. And I'm trying to lend to a different narrative because right now, the way marriage looks, it looks like an imprisonment. It looks like, woe is me, because I got this chick that's like a ball and chain hanging on my leg, or I got this fat, ugly dude that I married that I wish now that I could get rid of because there's another dude that I want, but I can't go and jump in his thighs because I got these chicken wings that I got at home. Hey, but I'm just trying to tell you some of the stuff that I hear. This stuff that I hear. But again, we've got to admit that there's a lot of different things that we gotta fix, we gotta look at, we gotta do, and you gotta be honest. And in that whole proposal thing, I'm telling you now, sometimes you gotta look at the person that you're with. Sometimes I've had situations where a proposal was actually a conversation. Mm-hmm. It wasn't even him coming to her. It was a conversation, and the conversation lended because in the conversation, watch this, ladies, you gave him the confidence to let him know you were ready. Because sometimes women have this interesting way to throw mixed signals that make him believe that maybe she ain't ready. Maybe she don't want this yet. So sometimes you've got to give him the right signal to say, yep, I'm ready. I'm ready. And watch this, ladies. It ain't sometimes because he's thinking, because the way you talk, way you move, stuff that you put on Facebook, all this stuff. So he's thinking, well, I can't propose to you because I ain't got a house.
I don't got a car.
I ain't get this car. I don't have this job. We ain't in this situation. So because we don't have this, we don't have this, we don't have this, I can't propose to you because you said to your girlfriends, girl, I need a house. I want us to be here. I want us to have this. So he's listening. He listens and he's forming in his mind this theory that in order for me to propose, I gotta have. As long as we get it, I'm good. But your mouth don't say that. So your signal says one thing, your mouth says something else. That's why that communication thing has got to be so important.
That's what Erling said. It does.
Communication works. Because see, if you convey it so that he understands it, it makes it so much easier. Because let me tell you the mentality of a real man. The mentality of a real man, he wants to give you the world. He wants to give you the world. One of the most beautiful love songs that was ever written was by Luther Vandross. And in the lyrics, he said, if this world were mine, I would give you everything. Why? Because in his mind, that's what he wants to do. And in exchange, he wrote this love song. This house ain't a home without you. I want. See, only the old school will understand. These young folks don't know what them songs are, because now this stuff that they put out now, I don't know what it is. But he was trying to say, look, number one, if the world was mine, I give you everything. Then he said, a house ain't a home without you. So he's trying to tell you everything that comes along with me being me has so much to do with you. So when it comes down to the way I treat you, I do both. I do it in my actions and I do it with my mouth, so that you don't ever have to figure it out. And I've said that to you many times. You ain't never got to figure that out. You ain't never got to figure it out, because I'm going to tell you and I'm going to show you. So that way you ain't never got to figure that out. And in all of this time that we've been together, have you ever had to wonder?
No.
Now, so Terry said, difference between proposal and an ultimatum.
Mm-hmm.
Now, good point. Yeah. Good point. Because here's the problem. Don't ever give a man an ultimatum. Don't do that. Because let me tell you what it feels like. It feels like, oh, so you don't want to do this? You don't want to do this? Now, here's the problem. Don't no man, after he has reached the level of his maturity, don't ever want to be felt like I'm a child. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't ever take my manhood and then reduce it to a child to say, are you going to do this or not? You're not even going to get the right response, because even if he loves you, he gonna act out just because of the way you approached him. He gonna act out, because that's not the appropriate way to do that. And then also, for those women who want to talk about the head of the household, that sure ain't the way to go about doing that, because what it suggests is that you are the one dictating what's going to happen. That ain't good. That ain't good. That ain't good. You're going to get the wrong response. You'll get the wrong response. And even if he loves you, in that moment, you're going to get the wrong response. Because you cannot, under no circumstances, put that relationship on some kind of hot seat.
Yeah, you can't. And I've seen too, at the same time, people have dated for years, and I'm not a fan of that either. And one person gets tired of waiting. You with somebody for 10 years. Okay, by that point, you should know. You don't have to date 10 years to realize that you want to know if you want to marry me or not. No, it doesn't take that long. So I can see where that happens. That is certainly not the right thing to do. But if you've been with them that long and you all are cohabitating or whatever you want to call it, and you still don't, yes, and you still, no,
it was real. It's real. I was laughing because
you still don't know if you want to marry me after 10 years and we built things
together.
But you know what's funny? That's the problem.
But here's what I find.
It does not take that long.
But here's what I find in situations like that. I find that individuals think that, oh, we don't need to be married because we already together.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Does a ring make you married? Like,
oh, I got a better question. Since you bring that up, I got a better question. So what exactly is marriage? What exactly is marriage? If we're already together, what is marriage?
Marriage is a vow that you make in earth between you.
Mm-hmm. No. Because what you're saying, and I mean it.
So it's not just a ring. It goes much deeper. Yes, go ahead.
No. It's all of what you said, right? It's all of what you said, minus one of the most important things. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is a part of the reason why man is in the predicament that he is in right now. Yeah. Marriage is asking God's approval and God's blessing. And here's the problem. We now suggestively think that we can do anything in this life without his approval and without his blessing. But yet we want his approval and we want his blessing. But we do not go through the channel to get it. Now let me show you, and I'm so glad, because I thought we was going to have to wait to get here. And I know we probably into some
2 hours in now.
We out here now. So so let me say this. For every one of you that are Christian in any level of Christendom that you are, whether you are novice, you are a regular attender of church, whatever it is, I want to show you something in the narrative of marriage based upon what I just said. What I just said, marriage is nothing more than God's approval and God's blessing. Now, you got people that will go to a courthouse, you got people that will go to church, they do destination marriage, they do all this stuff. You got even people that now they get married by whomever. They're not even getting married by individuals who themselves have lended to God to officiate these weddings, right? Mm-hmm. So now here's what's happened. We've taken something that was exclusively made by God, and now say, oh, I'll go about it however I want. And then ask God to just jump on board and bless it. This is what we're saying. It was exclusive. It was what he wanted it to be. Then, because now we're in this stage, now we just say, oh, I'm going to do this, and I'm just going to ask God to jump on board. Now, I'm going to tell you what has happened. And that's in so many different variances of how this is playing out. If you think for 1 second that God is just going to say, oh, that's what you want to do? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and approve that. You're going to find that he's there. He's there. But what you are thinking that God is blessing, God is tolerating. He's just tolerating it. Just like he tolerates all this other stuff that we do. Let me tell you something I've learned about God. God is long suffering. God is patient. God is kind. He's all of that until he's had enough. Now, it takes a while to get there, though. And what man in his mind does not understand, my ways are not your ways. My thoughts are not your thoughts. Because he is so long suffering, he's willing to wait. And for some, it is a lifetime, a man's lifetime of waiting. He'll wait. He'll wait. He'll wait. But I tell you what, it's a sad thing to go through a whole lifetime and get to the end and realize I went about that whole thing all wrong. Because one of the other things, which I will also, which is another facet of this, the other problem that I see You don't have no problem in identifying the wrong of somebody else, but you got a whole problem identifying your wrong. You don't want to repent for anything, but you want everybody to repent to you. Nah, this is a problem. It's not how a relationship is built. It's not. And I'm going to tell you, relationship is going to be real hard if you do not have a forgiving heart. Relationship going to be hard. It's going to be real hard. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So here's what I'm going to do, because I got to leave some fuel in the tank. This is only the first night, and boy, got some real good questions, and got some people that
We didn't answer all the questions, but
I mean,
some other
it was some other stuff. So again, here's what I need you to do. Here's what I need you to do. Before we close out, if you have questions, I want you to post your question in the chat. What we will do, I'm going to poll all the questions. Now, if you want to respond, you certainly can respond. But First Lady, we won't respond until next week. We will not respond until next week. We will pull your questions, and in order, myself, my producer, my wife, we're going to pull the questions, and we're going to go through the questions. Now, let's be mature with our questions, because if you're going to talk about sex and things like that, let's be tasteful in our questions. Let's be tasteful in our questions. I'm not ducking nothing, especially sex. I'm not ducking that, because you cannot duck what he gave us as one of the benefits of relationship. You can't duck that. You can't duck it. And if you're going to have real relationships, then you have to be real. You have to deal with things in a real manner, which is a part of the reason why many relationships don't work, because you don't want to be real. You just don't want to, you don't want to talk about what it's going to take. So if you have questions, I want you to pose the questions. Now, I also will give you this. For those of you that are either friends with First Lady or you're friends with me, and you may not want to post the question public in the chat, but you want to get the questions to us. Here's what I want you to do. You can go to my messenger. You can go to First Lady's messenger and send the questions that way. All right? You can send the question that way. Or you can send your question to my email address is bishoptsmith@hotmail.com. bishoptsmith@hotmail.com.
Make sure you put a title in the subject.
Yeah, just put questions from midweek service, or you can do questions for lovers only, or questions from relationships, any of that. So that way I know what those questions are, so we can address those questions. I think tonight was good. I think it was real good. I liked the engagement we had on this whole thing about women and men proposing. And I want to thank Terry for his question or statement about proposal and ultimatum, because that's another thing. And I'll close with that, on that theory about the ultimate. A lot of times, the only reason why it becomes an ultimatum, because somebody's become impatient. But there's a way to go about doing that. There's a way to go about doing it without in the wrong way to go about it. And I think if we go about it the right way, I think we're gonna merit the right response. All right. So listen, it's been good tonight. It's been real good. I pray that you enjoyed the time. We certainly went well over our time. We done missed our dinner time. We done missed our dinner time. What time is it, sweetheart? Good gracious, we done went over. So we're gonna have a late dinner, which we try not to do. We're gonna have a late dinner, and then we're gonna try to get some sleep. So I appreciate everybody. I appreciate everybody being on. It was great tonight. I pray that you all really enjoyed tonight. Meet us here next Wednesday, 7 o'clock, for the Midweek Motivation. We're going to continue on the subject of relationships, or for lovers only. We're going to talk about that. Listen, I want everybody to be careful this weekend. We are expecting some severe weather again. I want everybody to be safe. I want everybody to be safe with this variant, this Omicron variant. It is really out there. All right. I need everybody to be careful. All right. Sunday, 11 o'clock, we will be with you in the Love Center Cathedral Virtual Experience. We'd love for you to join us during our church experience. There ain't nothing like it. I get a chance to share the word of the Lord with you, and we get a chance to touch you with the gospel. And I certainly pray that if you are not in our church, that you are in somebody's church and experiencing what it is, the love of God, genuinely, not only with the virtual experience, but connecting with other people. This is the Love Center. It is truly a church
where love is in the center. And I also want to say that although we're talking about relationship tonight, that do not forget those that are suffering from COVID. Please be very mindful and be careful whenever you're moving about, because this variant is really spreading very, very fast. So just be aware when you go out, and just be prayerful for those that are in the hospital and those that are not in the hospital as well, that are struggling with COVID. And I want to also mention our Elder Hearn. She lost her mom recently. So please keep the Hearn and the Cummings family in your prayers. And my family back in South Carolina, my great uncle is in the hospital. So I ask that you would send your prayers and your thoughts down to my family in South Carolina. And we appreciate your support and your prayers always.
Thank you. Appreciate you, girl. So listen, I want everybody to be safe. Join us either next Wednesday or Sunday. Either one. We love to have you. We love to have you. This is Bishop Tyrone Smith and my wife, Lady Savannah. Any other final things? Anything else that we forget? Anything?
I don't think so.
No? We good?
Oh, one more thing.
There it is. I knew it. I knew I felt this unction.
So if you know of anyone, any family at all that's in need of food, please have them to reach out to us. We can be reached at onelovecenter@gmail.com. That's ONELOVECENTER@gmail.com. Or you can go to the website, which is www.tlcmd.org, and send us a message. That way we have an abundance of food that we are wanting to give out to be a blessing. So please share the information, and if you know of anyone, send them our way. And that's all I have.
That's all we need. All right, everybody, listen, be good. We look forward to seeing you either next Wednesday or next Sunday. The Lord bless you. We look forward to talking to you soon. Take care.